Hey, so I wanted to show you guys a little bit about like what the platform's currently looking like. So this is OccaSoftware, right? Um, and we've been, well, I've been adding like a bunch of features that I think are kind of cool and tie a little bit together in terms of like if you want to make your game, like how would you kind of go about coming up with the idea and then visualizing the idea and thinking about how the idea sounds like, what kind of music you might use. So the kind of ideas you start off with the game idea generator, and so you can kind of come in here, come up with a bunch of different genres and settings and mechanics, objectives, and you can roll them all together. Now I was thinking maybe about having like when you click this, for example, it would come up with like a game idea description using something like ChatGPT or something. But I don't know, it's kind of fun to just cycle through it like this. So just kind of something I was thinking about. Maybe you guys would like that. And once you have something you like, you can click save. So here's one that I saved just for example. You can go ahead and delete it. Uh, and you can copy the public URL. So if you do that, you can just share it to whoever and they can see your game idea. You can also give it a name like big bad game idea. I don't know. And give it some sort of description like this is a dumb idea. And so when you copy that, like you can just come over here and you can see that it updates over here. So you can kind of share it with your friends if maybe you're working on like a game jam. So that's how that would work. And yeah, so you kind of have your idea, and so you can just kind of save it, and then it'll save in here and it'll update on there. And then if you like it, well, you might want to think about, okay, well, what does that kind of look like? And so the way that you can think about what this might look like is you can send it to the AI image generator. So all you would have to do is just click this button, send to image generator, and then it goes over to our image generator, and then it creates a new image. So you can see here that this one's kind of like the default idea. And so I have a few of these, but it creates the new idea and you can delete it, the image for the idea, and you can, download it if you want to download it. It tells you what the resolution was generated at, or you can delete it if you don't like it, or you can copy the prompt. And if you want to create a new prompt, here it's just creating it again. Yeah, you can see some community generations in here as well. So by default, they're public and you can make them private if you want, or you can use some of these different ideas about, maybe I want a whimsical village of tiny creatures living inside giant mushrooms. So then you can change your um, aspect ratio and then just create that idea. And once you create it, it'll show up in your generations. And so you kind of go from having like a general idea about what type of sort of features you might have to something more specific, like, okay, it would have these features and this is kind of a visual inspiration for how it might look. And then going from how it might look to how it might sound, you can kind of take this same stuff and then send it to our music composer. So you just go here and then you can click compose, or you can go to the music composer directly and type something in. But let's just go here and use this same, this is the default one, so it always shows up by default. And then you can go compose and it'll pop over here. It takes a little longer for the music composition. It's a bit like, I guess, more computationally intensive. So it takes a little while longer. But once it's done, it'll create that music composition and you'll be able to see it show up in your My Generations. And then once it's generated, you can kind of use that as inspiration for what your soundtrack for that game might sound like. So I don't know if you'll be able to hear it, but here's what it sounds like on my side. And then you can, delete it if you don't like it, or you can download it if you want to keep it forever. And you can see what other folks have created as well over here. So that's kind of like the idea portion of it. I think it's kind of cool. Is there anything that you guys would maybe want to see different, or like any new features you'd want to have, or anything like that that you think would maybe make it better or more useful for you? I think like the main use case for me is thinking about when you're working on like a game jam, a fast-paced game jam, or in the early stages of coming up with new game ideas. These can kind of help you kind of flesh out what it might look like, what it might sound like, and what kind of realm of possibilities kind of get those brain juices, flowing. But I don't think it would really be very helpful like later on in the process if you're like, oh, I actually need to make a real soundtrack for my game. I'd probably recommend like actually hiring a music composer or something like that. Obviously, like you probably wouldn't want to use AI images in your actual game or AI music in your actual game, but it could kind of get you in the right direction in terms of feeling it out and brainstorming. So yeah, I just thought that was kind of cool, and I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on it. So thanks for watching, and see y'all soon. Cheers.